Enhancing Accessibility of Online Survey.
Hello everyone, I'm Cherry. We are the #IDEAL project team from the Faculty of Education at the University of Hong Kong. This video is about how to enhance the accessibility of online surveys. Teachers, researchers, and students make intensive use of online survey for a wide range of teaching, learning, and research activities, and even university event registration and evaluations. Inaccessibility of online survey will not only create barriers to some potential participants for equal participation opportunities, but also reduce the response rate and data quality of surveys. There are different online survey creation platforms, such as Qualtrics, Google Forms, and SurveyMonkey. The accessibility-related functions of these platforms may vary across program versions, operating systems, and hardware, such as computer screens, mobile phone, tablets, and types of screen readers. In this video, we will use Qualtrics to illustrate a set of essential principles for creating accessible online surveys. The sets of commands may be different across the type of online survey platforms, but general ideas will still apply. We will cover 10 themes of essential tips that will make online survey more accessible, including survey platform, survey page design, survey item design, flow of survey, button settings, text formatting, audio-visual contents, use of color, accessibility check, survey distribution. It is important to note that software and computer programs are constantly and rapidly developing along with changing accessibility functions. Refer to the specific platform for the latest status of accessibility-related functions. Please also keep in mind that points mentioned in this video are not exhaustive and do not guarantee full accessibility. We should always consider diverse needs of users. We also encourage you to refer to our toolkit to further explore document accessibility. Survey platforms. Regarding the survey platform, we will need to be aware of two things: being aware of accessibility of the survey creator interface, and being aware of the restricted access to certain platforms.
Be aware of accessibility of Survey Creator interface. The current functions of the Survey Creator interface of Qualtrics may not be accessible to users of assistive technologies such as screen readers and screen magnifiers and keyboard-only users. If teachers will include survey creation using Qualtrics as part of the coursework and assessment, they could prepare for alternative platforms, or mode of survey creation, or even alternative formats of the same coursework and assessment. Students should assess their own needs, proactively discuss any access needs, possible barriers, and required accommodation with the course instructors. Be aware of restricted access to certain platforms. There might be varying extent of restricted access to online survey platform and application at some geographical locations. Be aware that some users may not be able to access the online surveys. Some possible solutions are using other online survey platforms or providing alternative means to complete the survey in response to the needs accordingly.
Survey page design. Regarding the survey page design, we will need to be aware of three things: using simple or blank themes, customizing the survey title, and use simple page transitions. Use simple or blank themes. Simple or blank themes are generally preferred to complicated design. Simple themes generally have fewer potential accessibility issues.
If there are any theme templates specified by your department or institution, do your best to check the accessibility before using, such as checking the color contrast. In case there are any potential accessibility issues, do your best to report these issues to relevant units and select a more accessible theme. Customize survey title. A customized and descriptive survey title can help users identify the survey. It's particularly useful to screen reader users as they will read the survey title in the browser tabs to identify and locate the target survey.
Qualtrics Survey, Qualtrics Experience Management, Google Chrome. Qualtrics Survey, Qualtrics Experience Management. Clickable page loaded.
To add a customized survey title in Qualtrics, go to Survey, Survey Options, General, Display Name. Enter your survey title in the Display Name field. Then, the survey title appears in the Browser tab. Use Simple Page Transition. Complicated page transition could be distracting, so it is recommended to adopt Simple Page Transition. To set Simple Page Transition, go to Survey, Look and View, Motion, Page Transition. Select None from the drop-down menu.
Survey item design. Regarding the survey item design, we will need to be aware of three things: checking out and selecting accessible question types, being aware of the use of timed question, and ensuring mobile field compatibility.
Check out and select accessible question types. There is a wide range of question types to suit different survey purposes. However, some of them are potentially inaccessible to assistive technologies users or mobile phone users. It is important to always refer to the official websites of Qualtrics to check the latest guidelines of different question types when you create surveys. An example of non-accessible question type is drag and drop. Examples of accessible question types are multiple choice and text entry. We should select accessible question types and avoid potentially inaccessible question types. You may try workaround strategies for inaccessible question types to modify your originally intended way of asking questions to make them more accessible. For example, a rank order question involves drag and drop which is not keyboard accessible, could be replaced by a Likert matrix that lists the ranking. Users can then select the number that represents the order for each item.
Be aware of the use of timed question. It may take different amount of time for each respondent to answer each question in a survey.
Sometimes, some respondents might be unfamiliar with the interface, so it might take them relatively longer time to answer. It is also possible that the loading of the question takes some time due to the limited internet bandwidth or browser types. Timed question may create stress to respondents and bring about negative user experience. It is suggested to avoid timed question unless it is the necessary purpose of the survey, such as some psychological research on decision-making topics. If the survey contains some timed question, it is suggested to mention the presence of them earlier at the beginning of the survey to let respondents prepare for it. A visual display of a timer may facilitate some respondents to anticipate the amount of time remaining for answering questions. However, be aware that the timer might be not accessible to assistive technology users such as screen reader users. The animation of a timer might be disturbing to some respondents as well. Ensure mobile field compatibility. It is becoming more and more common for respondents to complete surveys using mobile devices. Therefore, it is essential to ensure mobile-friendly design of the survey content. You could make use of the mobile preview function and the mobile compatibility advisor to help check and fix design of the survey. Be aware that some questions involving JavaScript may not work properly across different devices. The layout of some question types, such as matrix tables, slider, and slide by slide, may require further consideration for better mobile field compatibility.
Flow of survey. Regarding the flow of survey, we will need to be aware of 5 things: describing purposes and instructions at the welcoming page, showing question numbers, displaying the progress bar with text description, not auto-advancing questions, and providing descriptive error notifications.
Describe purpose and instruction at the welcoming page. Include an introductory section at the welcoming page of the survey. You could state the purpose of the survey here. Instructions of how to complete the survey could also be included if there are any required items or any survey logic applied to the items. If survey logic settings are applied to the survey, some items may pop up or be skipped. This unexpected content may be confusing. It is important to notify users that the survey item order may or may not follow sequentially as expected as they proceed through the survey. It will also be helpful to provide contact methods of the person in charge of the survey. If there are alternative formats of the survey available for respondents with different access needs, you could mention it here along with the contact methods for further assistance.
Show question numbers. Showing question numbers would help respondents to keep track of the question order and survey completion progress as they proceed.
To show question numbers, go to Survey Options, General, Question Numbers. Turn on this option. The question number will display next to each question in the survey. To use the Auto Number feature, go to Survey, Tools, Auto Number Questions. A dialog pane is open. In the dialog pane, select the desired prefix and type of auto-numbering that would suit the needs of your survey. Select the option Skip Export Text that I have defined if you want to keep any specific question numbers for certain questions. The term export text means the question number. For example, the original default numbering starts from 1, but you want to rename the number Q1 as introduction. Sometimes, instructional text or graphic items that do not solicit any actual response may not need question numbering. To skip certain questions from the auto-numbering and hide the question number of those questions at the same time, go to Survey Options, General, Question Numbers. Turn on this option. Select and click on the questions concerned. Go to Question Behavior, JavaScript. The Edit Question JavaScript dialog pane opens. Copy and paste the following string on the Add on Ready section. Repeat the previous step for each question concerned. Click and drag all the question concerned to the end of the questions. Run auto-numbering. This time, you would have to select the option Skip Export Text that I have defined. Click and drag those question concerned back to the original position within the list of the questions. However, note that the question number will not be reordered automatically in response to the survey logic. If the survey logic settings are applied to the survey, some items may pop up or skipped. These non-sequential numbers may be confusing to some respondents, such as screen reader users. It is important to notify users by adding different instructional text at the beginning of the survey or within the corresponding questions. It helps users understand that the survey is running properly and they do not miss any items. Display progress bar with text description. Showing a progress bar would help respondents keep track of the survey completion progress as they proceed. The default style of the progress bar is a colored bar moving forward with or without showing 0% and 100% at the extreme. A verbose text of survey completion might display within the bar as well. This style of the progress bar might be inaccessible to some respondents, such as people with visual impairment, people with color blindness, and screen reader user. To add descriptive text and numerical percentage description, go to Survey, Look and Feel, General, Progress Bar. Select with verbose text from the drop-down menu of Progress Bar. Go to Progress Bar position, select either top or bottom from the drop-down menu. Insert JavaScript to either the header or the footer to add numerical percentage description to the progress bar. If you select top as the progress bar position in step 2, go to the header field to edit the JavaScript. If you select bottom as the progress bar position, go to the footer field to edit. Click Edit. Copy and paste the following script to the editing field, and click Save. The numerical percentage description will be added to the text description. Survey completion on the moving bar as the respondent progresses through the survey, in addition to the 0% and 100% at the extreme of the bar. Make sure to check and set sufficient color contrast between the progress bar, the font color, and the background. To modify the color, go to Look and Feel, Style, Primary Color. Pick the desired color. Do not auto-advance questions. Respondents may want to reread questions or revise the response. To switch off the function of auto-advance questions, go to Survey, Look and View, Motion, and check the option Auto-Advance on Questions.
Provide descriptive error notification. Response requirements and validation settings are commonly used to alert respondents about any survey items that they have missed or any wrong types of responses. Examples are forced response, request response, and content validation. However, be aware that the presentation style of these notifications may not be accessible to some respondents, such as screen reader users and people with color blindness.
If the forced response setting is applied, any items that respondents has missed will be highlighted by a colored box. Respondents are not allowed to proceed unless they answer those items. Although the problematic items are highlighted by a colored box, it might be difficult for some people with color blindness or screen reader users to locate those highlighted items. To improve accessibility of the forced response notification, clearly write the instructional text such as "This question is required" at the end of the question text. If the request response setting is applied, there is an alert message. There is an unanswered question on this page. Would you like to continue? Respondents must select and click on the command on the pop-up dialog box before they can proceed. The pop-up dialog box may or may not be accessible to screen reader users. To improve accessibility of the request response notification, clearly write the instructional text at the beginning of a survey to inform people about the survey logic. It would also help respondents to have a better idea about how to complete the survey and anticipate any potential barriers. Provide contact methods in case respondents think that the survey might be inaccessible to them and want to contact the survey creators. If the content validation setting is applied, responses that do not follow the specific formats or types will be highlighted by a colored box with an error message. Respondents are not allowed to proceed unless they follow the specified formats or types in answering those items. This could be difficult for screen reader users to proceed in the survey. To improve the accessibility of the content validation notification, clearly write the instructional text about the required format of answer within the question text. In either situation, we also need to check and set sufficient color contrast between the highlighted box, the font color, and the background. To select the colors of these highlighted boxes, go to Look and View, Style, Primary Color. Pick the desired color. Select an appropriate color for highlighted boxes that gives sufficient color contrast between the font color and the background.
Button settings. Regarding button settings, we will need to be aware of three things: adding text to show the actions of navigation buttons, enabling the back button, and creating the submit button on the final page. Add text to show the actions of navigation buttons. There are different navigation buttons in Qualtrics to perform different functions. The default style of the navigation buttons use mainly arrow symbols to indicate the actions.
It is suggested to use text to indicate the actions of the navigation buttons, and the text description should be concise, descriptive, and do not solely depend on visual clues. To add text description to navigation buttons, go to Survey, Look and View, General. Input the desired text description in the field of Next Button text or Previous Button text.
Enable the back button. Respondents may want to make review and change the answer to the previous question as they proceed through the survey. The presence of a back button allows respondents to change their responses to previous questions. It could make respondents less stressed when filling in the survey.
To enable the back button, go to Survey, Survey Options, Responses, Back Button. Switch on the back button.
Create the submit button on the final page. The Submit button can let respondents know clearly that they are reaching the end of the survey. It also alerts respondents that it will be the last opportunity to go back to previous questions and review or edit answers.
To create the Submit button, add a block at the bottom of the survey. Click and drag questions that are intended to appear on the final page of the survey to this block. Select and click on this block. Go to Edit Block pane, Format, Next Previous Button Text. The button text editing pane opens. Input Submit in the Next Button text field. Click Save.
Text formatting. Regarding text formatting, we will need to be aware of 4 things. Avoiding using all caps or small caps. Sans serif fonts are preferred. Using appropriate font size. Using high contrast mode. And left justification is preferred.
Avoid using all caps or small caps. Avoid capitalizing all text. It is difficult for most people to read. Text with all caps or small caps may show no difference in shapes and may visually appear as a single rectangle. It will particularly create barriers to some people with visual impairment and some people with reading disabilities. Do not make use of all caps to emphasize text content. Screen readers may not be able to identify this purpose. Sans serif fonts are generally preferred to serif fonts. Sans serif fonts do not have decorative lines at the edge, so they are generally preferred to serif fonts. Some examples are Arial, Calibro, and Verdana. Some fonts may not be available in most of the common computer systems. For example, Helvetica is a recommended sans serif font. It is available on Mac, but not Windows. Be aware that Helvetica text may be in different font styles in different computers as intended. Avoid only decorative fonts or light fonts. To change the font used in Qualtrics, go to Survey, Look and Feel, Style, Font. Select the desired font from the drop-down menu of Fonts. Use appropriate font size. Appropriate font size can make the survey content more comfortable and easier to read. Larger font would be more accessible for people with visual impairment. Avoid having extremely large and small texts in the same survey. Ensure the proportion of font sizes within the same page. Some readers may need to magnify the survey. They may get lost in the texts with extreme font size after magnifying the survey. To change the font size in Qualtrics, go to Survey, Look and Feel, Style. Input the desired font size at question text and answer text respectively. We recommend at least 20 pixels for the question text and 18 pixels for the answer text. Use high contrast mode. You could use high contrast mode to enable high contrast between the background and the text content to facilitate reading. To set high contrast mode in Qualtrics, go to Survey, Look and Feel, Style, Foreground Contrast. Select High from the drop-down menu of Foreground Contrast. Left justification is preferred to full justification of text. Left justified text is generally more readable. The uneven spacing between the words in full justified text could make readers difficult to follow and understand the text. To select left justification in text in Qualtrics, go to the Rich Content Editor of text.
Audio-visual content. Regarding the audio-visual content, we will need to be aware of 2 things: providing alternative text for graphics, and providing accessible videos and audios.
Provide alternative text for graphics. Alternative text concisely describes the content and the purposes of the graphical content in brief phrases or 1 or 2 sentences. Alt text enable users of assistive technologies to understand graphical content. When screen readers recognize an image with alt text, screen reader will read image or graphic, followed by reading the associated alt text.
Due to the use of survey logic, question numbers may not follow sequentially as you proceed through the survey. Graphic woman writing with a pen. To request alternative format of the survey, please contact our team at idprojects@crew.hk.
When the image does not load successfully or the browser blocks the image by default, alt text of that image may display to let users know what the image is about. Sighted users would also see the alt text under this situation, even if they are not using assistive technologies. To insert alt text in Qualtrics, insert the image into the Rich Content Editor. Select and right-click on the image. Select Image Properties from the drop-down menu. Enter the alt text of the image in the Alternative Text field and click OK.
Graphical content that are purely for visual decorative purposes or do not provide meaningful information do not require alt text. Currently, there is no option of mark as decorative image in Qualtrics. You may consider writing decorative as the alt text instead. Screen reader users will understand that this image is decorative and they do not miss important information.
Further guidelines for writing alt text and image descriptions. Provide accessible videos and audios. Provide subtitles, transcripts, and audio descriptions for videos and audios. Audio descriptions provide narration of the key visual elements in the video. If you really cannot provide subtitles or transcriptions of the videos or audios, you need to mention this issue in the question text to notify the respondents. Sometimes, you may consider providing URL of the video or audio in the question text in case the embedded video or audio does not work properly within the Qualtrics interface.
Use of colors. Regarding the use of color, we will need to be aware of two things: ensuring sufficient color contrast and not using color as the sole visual cue.
Ensure sufficient color contrast. Make sure to check color contrast. Content without sufficient color contrast could be inaccessible to some users. Content with sufficient color contrast is easier for everyone to read. You could use software applications to check color contrast, such as Color Contrast Analyzer and WebAMI Contrast Checker. Do not only use visual cues. Do not only rely on visual location, shape, size, or color to present instructions in the survey. For example, avoid using "refer to the options below." Compare the object on the left and the one on the right, or select the button on the left. It would create barriers to some respondents, such as people with visual impairment, people with color blindness, and screen reader users. Sometimes, the survey content layout may be automatically resized or repositioned when it is displayed in different devices in response to monitor sizes. The visual location of certain content of the survey might be inconsistent across devices or browsers.
People with color blindness, low contrast sensitivity, or some visual impairment may have difficulty distinguishing between different colors. Therefore, using color as the only visual cue to convey important message could hinder understanding of the content.
For example, a red cross and a green cross are used to represent compulsory lecture and optional class, respectively. However, some users, such as people with color blindness, may not be able to differentiate the red cross and the green cross. To enhance the accessibility, use multiple visual cues to present. Use both color and descriptive text, such as compulsory in red and optional in green.
Accessibility check. Regarding the accessibility check, we will need to be aware of two things: using the built-in accessibility checker to fix potential issues, and checking accessibility to screen readers and keyboard-only control.
Use built-in accessibility checker to fix potential issues. The built-in accessibility checker in Qualtrics can automatically detect some potential inaccessible designs of the survey and provide suggestions for fixing the potentially problematic areas. To use the built-in accessibility checker in Qualtrics, go to Survey, Tools, Review, check Survey Accessibility, Accessibility WCAG. The Accessibility WCAG section will list out some potential accessibility issues in the survey design and suggest solutions.
Note that passing this check does not necessarily guarantee full accessibility. Do not solely rely on this checker for accessible survey. For example, the checker would not inspect color contrast, font size, and keyboard use accessibility. Manual testing is needed.
Check accessibility to screen readers and keyboard-only control. It is suggested to go through the survey with keyboard only to check the keyboard accessibility of the survey settings and the reading order. Try if you can navigate through the whole survey using only the Tab key and the down or up arrow keys. Try also if you can select answers to questions using the Enter key or other keys of the keyboard. You could also go through the survey with screen readers.
Survey distribution. Regarding the survey distribution, we would need to be aware of two things: preparing for alternative formats of the surveys, and adopting accessible distribution methods and channels.
Prepare for alternative formats of the survey. Indicate the availability of and contact for any alternative formats on the introductory page of the survey. Prepare for alternative formats of the survey for respondents with different access needs, such as PDF form or Word version, along with the contact methods for further assistance. For in-class interactive activities, such as polling and questions and answer sections, examples of possible alternative solutions to online surveys are hand raising, sending messages in checkbox, or video conferencing platforms. For event registration, program enrollment, or research surveys, examples of possible alternative solutions to online surveys are phone call, email, or even paper and pen formats.
Adopt accessible distribution methods and channels. Besides the creation of accessible survey items and interface, it is equally important to consider the accessibility of the survey distribution methods and channels, such as emails, websites, and social media posts.
Disclaimer.
This video does not contain any business promotion elements. Software, programs, and operating systems are constantly and rapidly developing along with changing accessibility functions. Statements in this video about the functions of any software, programs, and operating systems may no longer represent the current status. The recommended practices in this video are not exhaustive or the best solutions for each situation. It is possible that the hyperlinks of the cited resources in this video might be edited or removed by the corresponding contributor after publication of this video.
References. You may find the full references on screen now. You may also refer to the text version of the reference list below the video player on the webpage. Acknowledgement. This project is funded by the UGC Special Grant for Strategic Development of Virtual Teaching and Learning. The first author, Gloria Ma, would like to acknowledge the support of the postdoctoral fellowship scheme offered by the Research Grants Council of Hong Kong. To cite this video, please follow the suggested citation. This work is licensed under Attribution Non-Commercial Share Alike 4.0 International. For more guidelines on creating accessible digital educational materials and virtual learning environments, please refer to our Virtual Learning Accessibility Toolkit at https://vlaccessibilitytoolkit.hku.hk or download the full text in PDF from HKU Data Repository. You may scan the QR code on screen now to visit the database. You may also download the set of cheat sheets for quick reference and sharing. You are highly encouraged to watch the other videos in this ID Leaders Self-Learning series to enrich the knowledge of the basic concepts, practical tips, and resources of enhancing the accessibility of virtual teaching and learning. Here comes to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Let's begin our journey towards co-creating accessible virtual teaching and learning.